Wake that ass up.
Early in the morning.
The Breakfast Club.
Morning, everybody. It's DJ Envy, Angela Yee, Charlamagne the Guy. We are the Breakfast Club. We got a special guest in the building.
And you know what's so crazy? Some people you ask how did they fare through the pandemic. Some people we know did great during the pandemic. Okay. I don't think nobody did better than this brother,
but
to be honest with you.
Some of us came up, and D-Nice was one of them because he came up. Congratulations and welcome, the brother DJ D-Nice.
Man, it's good to be here, man.
How you doing,
Finally.
King?
I'm great, man. It's the first time back in New York,
Mm-hmm.
Since I played Radio City. That was February 20th, 2020. So it's my first time back, and I'm walking around, and I'm like, wow, like it's a little bit different. Different energy, but
yeah.
I'm happy to be home.
I seen you got the vaccine the other day.
I did.
How was that? You got your first shot or second shot?
I got both.
You got both
fully
shots.
Vaxxed,
So
yeah.
how was that?
First shot was cool. The second one kind of did me dirty for like 3 days, but trying to be responsible, man, do the right thing. And it was important. My mom was out in LA with me, so I had to make sure she was straight,
We everybody always talked about how professionally, how great you did during the pandemic. Personally, what was your energy? What was your mental?
It was hard.
Okay.
I'll be honest with you. I get emotional when I think about it, but being home for all of those months without family, no close friends. I mean, I got friends in LA, but everyone was with their families. So that was the reason why I played music so long, why I stayed on every night. I was just jumping on. It was just a way to stay connected. But aside from that, it was constantly reading the comments from people that were lonely, and this music was helping them. That was one thing. Then on the flip side, after a few months when, my obviously my situation has been pretty good, in terms of like privates and, to thrive during a time when people are struggling was another that was like, that's something that, I can't even describe that kind of guilt, where the world was stopping, So that's why I tried to make sure I did as many like fundraisers and allowed other DJs to use my platform just to kind of like balance it out, man, to give other people a shot. But so that took its toll on me though,
Absolutely.
I get emotional thinking about that.
I see Club Quarantine also got your own day as well, too.
March 19th is Club Quarantine Day in the state of New York.
Was that the day? Was that the big day when you hit the 100,000 and everybody just seemed to be on there on that one Saturday?
That was the 21st, but the 19th was the day that I actually started and started calling it Club Quarantine.
Wow.
Yeah, that's when I started DJing. Before I was just playing music, from my computer into the iPhone. But when I put those turntables on, it was the 19th, and it's crazy. Haven't looked back since.
So you started playing music because of how you was feeling. You was feeling lonely. You needed an escape.
Yeah, the first day it wasn't about anyone else, man. The first day was about, man, I was all of my gigs were being canceled. I was booked for Essence. I was booked for South by. I had Coachella gigs, and everything was canceled the same day. Like, bro, it was like, send those deposits back. And I was like, yo, this is crazy. And it was, to me, what the stressful part wasn't just about those gigs, but it was about being an older DJ in the game. And 2020 was supposed to be my year of becoming that opening act. So I had like 10 dates opening for Jill Scott. So the first date was like Radio City Music Hall, but I had 9 other dates. So I was looking forward to becoming that opening act. Like, man, this is a transition year for me.
And look at God. God said, you're going to be a headliner.
No, for sure. For sure.
Word.
God said, you're going to be a headliner.
Yeah.
Wow.
Word.
Yeah.
But did
You know what else probably was difficult too, because you are a girl dad, you have your daughters. So was there a period of time when obviously everybody was quarantined, not traveling, that you didn't get to see them? How long did it take for them to come to LA?
So I could have been irresponsible and gone out to Michigan and gone to New York. But I'm telling you, man, like the first few days when I saw what was happening, and I started reading the comments, because I had a flight. I actually had a flight to Detroit that Friday the 20th. Like, I was out. But I kept reading, and there was something that felt magical about it, and I just decided to not get on the plane. So I could have gone, but I just felt like this is different. And I stayed. I missed the flight. I stayed. And then that Friday night, that's when like Drake popped in and J-Lo, and then Saturday was like crazy. But I didn't see my kids for 4 months. But when I saw them, they were with me for like the summer. Yeah. But for the most part, like, no, I stayed in that space of like, stand alone, because that was the feeling that everyone else had, and I wanted the music to kind of reflect that and be there for people.
You did so much during the pandemic. I mean, you were on damn near every night, and not just for an hour or two. Like I do an hour or two, and I'm tired, I'm sweating, but you're on for 6-7 hours. You purchased a crib during the pandemic. You did so much. You never just got tired and said, "Yo, I need a mental break. I need to just."
I didn't know you purchased a crib.
Yeah, you don't remember he went from the condo? He was in the condo, an apartment building.
Yeah.
I didn't pay no attention. I just
like that's how much I was on it. You would see the sun go down as a DJ, or the sun go up, and then all of a sudden,
beautiful house by the pictures we've seen.
Beautiful house, yeah,
it's a nice place. I got tired for the first time like 2 months ago. 2 months ago, I woke up and it was just like I started tearing for like 3 hours, bro. And it was what I realized was that throughout the entire pandemic, I was masking the feeling with music. I wasn't dealing with everything the way everyone else was. So every time I felt sad, I just turned on my laptop and I started DJing, and I would read comments that was very uplifting, and like you see this community of people just coming and being there, and it became this safe space for so many people, not just regular folks, but like celebs, like they are in there like every day. If I'm on now, people are in there just talking to each other. So I know it's more than just the music. But yeah, that was the moment, 2 months ago, I was like, yo, this is, I jumped in my car and drove to Utah for like 8 hours.
Have you started DJing again? Have you done your first gig outside of it, like
no
with people? No?
No.
Really?
No, I did.
Wait till you do that.
Even
It's
Super
the
Bowl.
feeling, the energy is like no other.
Yeah, I can't. But I'm holding out though.
Oh, and you did Super Bowl. I was there for Super Bowl. He had a set at Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Super Bowl Arena. D-Nice was DJing.
I was the opening act at the Super Bowl.
That's right.
What's your ticket now, D-Nice? $250,000? You got to be getting them white boy EDM DJ numbers
I don't
now.
know. I haven't done those gigs yet. Like
It gotta be though.
No, it's
up there.
It's up there. It's nice.
It's up there.
But
and I love it because it raises the value for all the DJs.
And that's another.
Yes,
thing.
it does. Yes, it does. Yes, it does. Like promoters, I'm telling you, yes, it does.
It does, man. It does. It does. For someone that looks like us and plays music the way we listen to it, and for that music to be the music that worked during the quarantine, and that means that people still want to hear that. And DJs have been hitting me that are doing gigs. Like big DJs are like, yo, can you look at this? I'm playing Luther Vandross and like some Crazy and Live. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
So yeah, I mean, hopefully, this trend will continue. We love all music, so it's kind of dope to be able to celebrate everything.
It's interesting with you too, right? Because I love you were the go-to guy, and it always makes me think, who does the go-to guy go to? Because like you said, you almost broke down because you hadn't dealt with anything that whole year. So who did you go to in that moment?
Man, there were a few people that I would talk to. Guy Osiri is one. Man, my friends, Michael Blake. I don't know if Mike Blake has been in here, but Mike Blake and Alvin and, I got a cool group of men, but I wasn't going to them initially. I was just focused on the music. But when I started feeling, because it's heavy, bro. Like, I don't care who you are or, it's heavy, man. There was one moment where I was on this Zoom with like Lenny S and Jay and Puff and Tiffany Haddish, but then it was their friends and everybody was just doing the same thing. We're just all sitting in the kitchen in all of these different homes. And it was like, in that moment, I realized like it didn't matter how much money you had, how connected you were. We were all affected. We all had to, we had, some people had better kitchens, you know what I mean?
Who had the best kitchen? Who had the best kitchen? I was like, who had the best kitchen out of all the boxes?
Out of all of that, Jay had the best kitchen.
Of course. Why wouldn't he?
Jay's kitchen looked like a museum.
And you said Jay. I think I saw you said Jay was the first person that made you realize, like,
yes,
you're really doing something right now.
During that conversation, Jay just kept going back to my Zoom, and he was like, and I thought he was being funny. He kept asking like, "Yo, how does it feel?" And at that point, I hadn't even gone outside. Like, I was chilling. I'm like, "What do you mean? How does it feel?" Like, I thought he was being funny, like I've never been hot as a DJ. I'm like, bro, I've been doing all of these events.
He's sarcastic like that, too.
He was like, nah, this is different, though. Like,
it is, though. It is.
He was like, this is different, but I didn't recognize that early on. And when he said that, I was like, wow, like maybe this is different and that it touched people in a different way, Like, it's one thing to play music, but it's another thing to play music where people just feel good knowing that you're the one that's playing it. and that's I kind of reached that point now.
I think people don't realize too that there was a D Nice before last year's D Nice.
Sure.
Like we've all been to D Nice parties. We've been out of the country and seen D Nice play. D Nice was a rapper. He was a photographer. D Nice has done a million different things.
Right.
Yeah.
And
D-Nice was already my favorite event DJ anyway.
You
like,
said
as
that.
y'all know.
But you can't afford him
Yeah.
now. You can't afford him now, so he'll
I
never be
wouldn't
doing
charge
the
her. I
bowling
wouldn't charge you. I wouldn't charge none of you.
I wouldn't even
That's
play
family.
you like that.
Say again?
I wouldn't even want
Yeah.
to play you like
Yeah,
that.
we gotta.
Yeah. No. You know what, man? Like, listen, man, the love is enough for me, you know, when it comes to, like, my friends. Because what you don't realize was that seeing your name, like, you were in there, like, the first days. You know what I mean? Like, that gave me inspiration. Like, you could be doing something else with your time. And that was early before people were, like, connecting it to their Bluetooth. Like, people were literally holding phones. So for you to be sitting there holding a phone and you're my man and you're in a business where you can be doing something else, like, that was inspiring to me. So, yeah, man, like, I'm not trying to do that for all of my friends, but, like, bro, we vacation together.
Absolutely,
You know what I'm saying?
absolutely.
Like, that's important to me.
I missed that last year too, bro. Oh my God.
I missed it, man. I can't wait. Are you going back this year?
Hopefully, if they loosen the restrictions a little bit.
Yeah, if they can. I got it. I miss that island.
Yes. I mean, it's a disconnect.
Yes, totally. And we have fun, bro. New Year's Eve is
Oh man.
unlike anything. You got to come out there, bro.
1 year.
You got to bring all 22 of your kids.
That's, you know, and I'm gonna bring every one last of my kids. I'm gonna bring all the kids when I come. But you know, I'm usually working New Year's Eve. So that's the difficult.
I'm actually afraid, right? Because I'm like, damn, we've been doing this for the past 4 or 5 years. Anguilla, New Year's Eve. What is it gonna look like now with D Nice? When because D Nice been DJing, but now when the people see it, people from all over the world gonna be probably coming just to come to that one party.
That's why I haven't done any gigs like for the public yet, because I want the first ones to be special, you know, like, so I've been working out with Live Nation, and, you know, we're locking in the Hollywood Bowl, locking in the Apollo, the Fox in Atlanta, and then one international date in London, to, like, really treat it properly and give people that experience. Like, you know, I don't want it to be a situation where you can't get into this big club because you're not wearing the right gear. Like, no, if you came to party, like, you want to be comfortable, and that's important to me. You know, I want them to have that experience, and I want people to have the experience we have on New Year's Eve.
That's right.
Like, that's next level.
Nah, it's
like,
amazing.
With your New Year's Eve represents what Club Quarantine is, because you're out there with your families,
Family and
we're
friends,
dancing. Yeah. We're still celebrating.
Yeah.
Kids are running around. Like, that's what it represented.
Absolutely.
So that's what I want people to have.
Do you think that the perfect storm happened for you because clearly it did, but because of all the work that you put in prior? Because you DJ so many different events and you interact with so many different people that everybody just came on that one Saturday and just boom.
So what people don't realize is that a lot of the people and a lot of celebs that were in there, because that's what made it exciting for people. It gave people hope when they could see, like, a Michelle Obama in the same virtual party that they were in, or they would see Angela in there. Like, the fact that we were all, like, talking and sharing stories and sending virtual bottles, that's what was fun. The beauty of it is that it couldn't have happened to just any DJ, because a lot of those were phone calls like, hey, I know this is going to be like a weird request, but I got this party. It's on your phone. Like, I had to say that to like, you know, the former first lady, you know, people like, yo, can, you know, and I didn't think it was going to happen. And when she came in and other people started to pop in, for me, that was a pivotal moment of, like, that is a culmination of all 35 years of being in the music business, of, like, being there for people, not overcharging. Sometimes if someone didn't have a budget, it may have been the right thing to do. You know, like, Angela Yee parties, she never paid me, like,
what? Wow, Yee. Wow.
You got all those properties, all those businesses, and you didn't pay
but she paid me with love, right there.
Nah, you and Kaiser could have paid D Nice.
No,
all that money you and
I would
Kaiser
say
made.
Yeah, you cheap.
Kaiser tried to work it out in another way.
Yeah, Kaiser made, you know.
On that, I can't speak on, but yes. So
You cheap ass.
technically though, and then look, I think but yeah, moving forward, you know,
I'll pay you. Moving forward, I'll pay you.
I'm looking forward to the Kaiser Yee bowling parties, man. Like, things like that are fun. You can't even put a price on those.
Did the
But I
pandemic?
will say this: there was a lot of hookups at Club Quarantine, and I think we'll see a lot of weddings and
Oh,
because
yeah,
people
no.
were really in the audience, like in the comments,
Talking back and
oh,
forth,
let me
yeah.
buy you a drink, like and hooking up after. So, have you seen any of those success stories? Like people hit you like, yo,
Yes, like Miss Julie, she used to be at Essence. She sent me a DM and she was like, I just want you to be one of the first people to know that we're having a Club Quarantine after dark, baby. So she had me on DM with her husband, and I was like, her husband was cringing, like, yo, I cannot believe she's telling you this, but yes,
Hilarious.
this kid was conceived doing Club Quarantine after dark.
Hilarious.
And then when I was out with, I went out with Vice President Harris in Georgia during the Georgia runoffs, and like women were coming up to me, they were pregnant, like, hey,
Club Quarantine.
like, nah, that's great though, man. It's great.
Clearly, the pandemic reignited your love for music by this new record we heard.
Yes, I'm excited, man. With the new single with Neo, and then I've been in the studio. I'm like 70% done with my first DJ project, which I'm really excited about. And it's a reflection of what I've been playing, like I wanted a feel good record. And yeah, man, and just Neo coming through is everything, man. Appreciate that, dude.
So what about you? What are your thoughts on all the deaths recently? Whether it's Shock G, Black Rob, DMX, because you came from the artist side.
Yeah, it's. I mean, they've all been tough, Like I knew X, from like when my first record was out, when I was performing in Yonkers, and he was one of the opening acts, and cool, and name checked me on one of his songs, and his story was just deep, man. Like,
Hey, X been around that long?
yeah.
So you talking about when you say your first record, you mean My Name Is D-Nice?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. X was like rapping, he was like the local hot dude, you know. Was performing at King School in Yonkers. But yeah, I mean, it's a tragic story, man, like for someone that could give so much of himself in music and then to be battling whatever those demons were, I don't know, but like from just seeing it, like that struggle, it's a hard thing, and especially going through what we're going through right now. Like if you're already struggling and then you're dealing with it, you're dealing with the pandemic, and it's a lot, man. The same thing for Rob. Now, I didn't know Rob was sick, I didn't know at all. Like, I wasn't really following what was going on, and I wasn't a part of like the bad boy camp, so I didn't feel that kind of connection until I saw the video, and I was like, damn, like I wish I could help, like and the Shock G one, that shocked me, like I wasn't expecting that, like I mean, I met him back in the day. I didn't have like a close relationship with him, but I was in their video, Kissed Me Back, and yeah, to see someone from my generation, I think he was the one that hit me the hardest. X hit me hard because it was X, but like in terms of like having records out around the same time, like Shock G, like and that was like, the universe putting mortality right in your face.
Yeah. And we still don't know how he passed, too.
No.
So that's the other thing. It's like, you're not going to tell us nothing? We're not going to find anything out? Like,
yeah.
Because you kind of want that to make yourself feel better, right?
True.
Sadly.
Sadly, you do.
You want to hear, okay, well, it was this or it was that,
But the X one was hard, too, though, man. And it was beautiful to see how much his fans loved him.
Absolutely.
Like that, that whole bike rollout was...
It's crazy.
Was crazy.
With
it
the
was
monster
like,
truck.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like, if you could see yourself, like, see your funeral, I know he would have been, like, proud of that and the amount of love, that the outpouring of love that he received, man. But, Absolutely. Yeah, it was still hard, though. You don't want to lose your brothers.
I think it's dope, too, that you allow people to use your platform. A lot of people get that platform and get real funny with it.
True.
And you never been that way. Even when I called you when I was trying to raise money for the DJs,
yes.
It was like, people have been helping bartenders, they've been helping, businesses, but DJs are struggling. I was talking to a DJ yesterday, and he was like, you don't know, but that little bit of money that y'all gave me, during the pandemic, he was like, it helped me be able to buy food.
True.
He was like, I couldn't do it. So I wanted to say I respect that. And I'm always grateful for you. Every time I need to call, even though you were late, you know what I mean? You came through. I think I told
I was late when?
Like 5 o'clock or something. And he was like, he thought it was his time and not Eastern time.
Oh yeah, no,
You got your ass up and get right on though. But
yeah, because the whole, I'm used to West Coast time now, and I was like, oh word, oh my gosh, yo, my bad. But no, it's important though, bro. Like, look, man, I've been blessed with this platform, and I waited and worked for this platform But along the way, all I ever wanted was like for someone else to just give me a shot. You know what I mean? Like, and I remember that feeling of like wanting to open up for some of our favorite DJs that we know, you know, like our peers. And cats were like, nah, you old school. Like, so I had to go a different route. I had to go and play like rock and roll to get in the door. And now that I had an opportunity and a platform, I didn't want to be that. No disrespect to them, but I didn't want to be that person. I wanted to be the dude that was like, yo, I want you to know what this feels like. Because it is a different feeling. If you're on your IG and you got 200 people on there, that's cool. And it's great because there are 200 people that are there always supporting you. But then when you go on a joint where you see 10,000 people and you've never really had that, that's a different feeling. And you see these hearts going constantly. That you can feel that energy. So I always share it with you know, with any, you know, DJs, male, female, young. Like, I want everyone to get a shot.
Not only that, you pulled me to the side one time. I think we was in the airport somewhere. And you were like, yo, Envy, I think you should go do more corporate events. And I was like, why? I do the parties, I do the club. You was like, that's good. But I don't see enough of us, our community, doing corporate events. They hire everybody else that don't look like us, and these corporate events are paying buku dollars, but they're playing our music.
Yeah.
And then you sat down with me and my manager, and you set us up to do it. And I always respected that. But because you didn't have to give me that information. You didn't have to tell me that. You know what I mean? And that's what we need more of. A lot of DJs, a lot of us, we don't do that more, and we need to do that more. So I always wanted to say thank you for that,
I appreciate that. Like, people were afraid to do corporate. They didn't think it was cool enough. But when I was there, I was like, listen, they're playing Stevie Wonder, playing Jay-Z, and they're paying this other guy, you know, X amount of dollars. I'm like, no, we got to get in there, you know. And,
those corporate checks are nice.
Corporate, and on top of it, you could play what you love. You know, like Club Quarantine is no different than what I do on the corporate side. I play, you know, I'll play Lil Uzi Vert. I'll play it a certain way, and I'm going to play the clean version, you know what I mean? But, like, I'm still going to make it fun, but I'm still going to give you David Bowie as well. And I think that's what made my CQ set special, because that's the way I just listen to music and play music the way we do at home.
Absolutely.
You know, when you talk... Oh, go ahead.
I was going to say, you said your album is 70% done. So can you give us some more insight? We obviously know the single with Neo and Kent Jones, and you did a remix with Snoop. But what else is happening on this D Nice album?
I'm not even going to say names yet, because, you know, once we haven't really signed off on these contracts yet, and then things could change, you know. But it's a great mix of young and my generation, you know, like, and I'm being like the next single that I'm just waiting for one person to put his vocals on. It's like a great combination of young and old, like this balance of, like, you know, like the way people who come and listen to me play. Like, you'll be in my IG and you'll see like Sweetie in there chatting with Melba Moore, you know, like, so I wanted a record that would reflect that, like, that everyone would feel proud of, and, you know, not on some corniness, you know, but just solid records and solid R&B songs. I'm doing an R&B album, even though I'm from the hip hop world. My album is all R&B right now.
I don't blame you. You know, it's interesting. You said, you know, when you saw Shock G pass, you said you thought about your own mortality. Yeah. So does that make you think about, like, legacy more? Your legacy?
I've always thought about legacy, which is why I made certain moves, you know, like why I don't have a book out. You know, I don't have a book out because I felt like the story wasn't there. Now the story is there for sure. Like, I know it. You know, I did something that was just different. But prior to that, I was like, man, I mean, my legacy is cool, but my legacy was built on other people. I was from BDP, which was KRS's thing, you know. I've done all of these private events, you know, the White House and the Obamas, and that was their thing. I didn't feel like that was, you know, I mean, it was a good story, but I just didn't think that was the story. And, like, after what happened, I know that this is the story now, you know, and I know that I carved out my own little space in history, you know, music history, and during this pandemic, you know, they're definitely going to talk about the way we interacted.
That's right.
And it was based on, you can't mention Versus without starting with Club Quarantine. You can't,
absolutely.
You know, like, so I feel like I did my own thing now, and I did it my way, and it's cool. And I respect the history, and everything that I do is based on wanting to build on the legacy and wanting to leave something behind for my kids, and that's where I am right now.
Yeah, I mean, not only did you change the way we consume content, right? Like entertainment content. It's that saying where they say people will forget what you did, they'll forget what you said, but they'll never forget how you made them feel.
How you made them feel.
Nobody will ever forget how D-Nice made us feel during the pandemic.
Yeah.
Like, I know exactly what I was doing on that Saturday night when you went up. Like, I mean, I had seen it before. You know, I was watching, I tuned in a couple of times before, but when you went up on that Saturday when it was 100,000 and you was pointing it, I remember exactly what me and my wife was doing.
That was a moment, bro.
Oh, man.
I felt the moment. I felt it.
Yeah.
I was like, whoa. I kept seeing these names, and I think when I started getting calls from the political people, like, hey, this person is about to pop in, I was like, yo,
Yeah.
this is wild. Like, yo.
They used it as a campaign stop almost.
Yeah, because that's the way I position it, though. Like, I woke up that Saturday morning, bro, and I sat on the bed. Puff, Ingrid, they will all tell you, everybody was offering me something. Ingrid was the only Ingrid who works with Puff. She was the nicest person because I was like, yo, I don't want anyone's money. Like, I don't know what this is, but my heart is telling me to not take anything. She will go on record and tell you, I turned everything down. I was like, there's something different about this. And took nothing from anyone. And when that thing started happening, the first person that called me was Puff in the middle of the night. And he was like, yo, you just made history, bro. He was like, you just made history. You're the biggest black DJ in the world.
No, for real. I remember that day. You know who hit me? Shaka from Rock Nation.
Oh, yes.
Shaka was hitting me like, yo, you going to D-Nice? I'm like, what you mean going to D-Nice? Like, he's going to be on tonight. On what? On Instagram. Oh, okay. Yeah. I'm going to check it out. I don't know why it was that, but for whatever reason, that was the conversation that day leading up to it.
Yeah, I remember my phone was going crazy. Everybody was texting me like, yo, go hurry up and get in here. They'd be like, yo, they looking for you in Club Quarantine. And I was like, okay, let me just hop on and see what's going on. It was such a thing. It was like
I've always wondered what it felt like on the other side for people. Like,
it felt like going to a club. When Shaka hit me,
wow.
I'm like, yo, I start telling the wife, because like, yo, we gonna check D-Nice out tonight. You know what I mean? And for us, it brings back a different memory because, you know, like I said, we with you every New Year's in Anguilla. So it's just like it brought that to
even
us
before that big night when it wasn't as many people, when it was first getting started, people were texting me like, yo, we looking for you at Club Quarantine. And I didn't, but it wasn't even Club Quarantine. They were like, get on D-Nice's page.
Yes.
You know, he's DJing and they saying, get in here. And it really felt like they were somewhere and telling you to come.
They
like,
did.
come outside the house.
Did. Even talking to people while it was going on. Like, you know what I mean? You hitting people while they're in there. Like, yo, I see you over there.
That's crazy, man. Like, for me, I was just feeding off of the comments. I would read the comments while playing. I'm like, oh, wow, that's awesome. Like, okay, cool. Oh, they like this vibe. And my thing has always been like, yo, you have to really like someone to keep tapping that heart. Mm-hmm. You know, your thumb is tired, man. You know, when I keep seeing these hearts fly, I'm like, man, like, people are really having a good time. It's the only way I could do. You know, you said 2 hours and you're done. You're like, nah, I'm good, man.
Yep.
Me, I went 19 and a half hours straight on election day.
Wow.
And, you know, the anniversary, I went 12 straight hours, you know, of just playing music and not repeating songs. And, like, and it goes back to what you said, like, I must love music all over again. That's actually what happened during this time, was to be unafraid of playing what we love. Like, bro, I mean, you know I'm a little older than you guys, but, like, yo, there was no, like, you know, hip-hop, like, you know, video shows before Yo MTV Raps. So if you wanted to, like, hear or watch the Run DMC video, you had to sit through Bette Midler and, like, you know, Kenny Rogers.
Video Music Box. You know what
I'm saying? Like, and to wait for those videos. Not Video Music Box. I'm saying, like, on MTV.
No, okay, yeah.
You know, like, if you wanted to see it on the mainstream side, like, you had to sit there and watch all that. Video Music Box was just local New York. But, like, the world, they didn't have any shows. So I grew up watching all of these shows, and that's just the way I play music now. You know?
How did you get your sets? Did you practice the set, or was it all feeling?
No, it's all feeling. I don't have any sets. It's literally all feeling. It's all feeling. You know, I mean, there's some things that, I don't know, just in that moment, I'll just start humming something like, oh, this is crazy, and just play it, you know?
That's dope.
Do you ever feel
Do you remember? I feel like it's educational too, right? Because a lot of times there's songs and you hear the song originally came from this, then this person sampled this, but you get to hear it. Remember when they used to have those, what was it called? Soul Kitchen parties?
Oh, yes. Mm-hmm.
In New York, where it was like, they would play all the original songs that people sampled. And I feel like I got that kind of vibe also at certain times.
And that's part of what I loved about DJing early on, is that I love the element of surprise. Like, oh, where's he going with this? And like, oh, like I've always loved that vibe, and it definitely works. It works especially at home, man, when people are just sitting back and just appreciating music. It's a good thing to do. But yeah, it's been pretty dope, man.
You ever feel like Club Quarantine might overshadow your history? Everything else that you've done prior to?
No, I don't think so. Mm-hmm. No, I'm not. And I'm shortening to just CQ now. Like once the world opens up, I don't want to use quarantine. Like I don't want to be that dude.
Yeah.
But there is a complete separation between like me and doing my gigs, and then CQ is CQ thing is more festival vibe. That's what we're building right now with Live Nation, and D-Nice is just D-Nice, like, as long as I have the hat on, I'm good.
I know somebody's offered you a residency. Somebody had to be like, I want you to come here and call it CQ every week or something like that.
Nah, I want to own my thing.
Word.
I don't want to do a residency at your club that you didn't want to hire me in the first place.
Mm-hmm.
I want to do my own thing. And my thing is, I want amphitheaters. I want, an annual, what's the difference between what I did and what's happening than Essence Festival.
That's right.
Or Coachella. Like, it all had to start somewhere, and right now I won the heart of people with music and being authentic, so why build someone's club up? I don't want your residency. I want to be able to help my guys get a spot, so if I can build my own thing and have like this weekend of activities and start booking other DJs, because it's going to be hard for DJs, for the next year or so. It's going to be hard. So if I can build a platform that people can come in and rock and pay, like, I'm cool on that. Like, I don't need to be in the clubs.
Yeah. So how do you think DJs will move forward after the pandemic? You said it's going to be hard for them.
Because gigs aren't at the same capacity anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Like right now they won't be at 100% until the end of the year. I think right now New York is what, 50%?
I think clubs is like 30.
Like 30%. Yeah. So like you're either gonna charge more to get in.
There's like so many rules and regulations now because of quarantining and social distancing.
Which means the venues make less money.
Mm-hmm.
Which means they're gonna pay DJs less. Mm-hmm. Those DJs that were making $500 a night, or now because they need the money. Also, people are gonna try to take advantage of it.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Like here's $250, here's $200. Mm-hmm. You need to feed your family, and consistent $250 every night for a week. That's good. Yeah, so, it's going to be bad, but, like, I just feel like when the world finally opens up and people can dance again, they are really going to celebrate. And then I feel like the shift is going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
Long as DJs... Atlanta's wide open. Atlanta's
wide open.
100%.
Atlanta and Miami.
100%.
And Houston.
And Houston, 100% the club.
Yeah, but I'm definitely not doing the clubs, man. I'm good.
Besides the album, what other big things are you working on?
The festival opportunity. I do have like a couple of book deal offers. Now I feel like it's time to tell the story. Because the story is dope, man. And I'll tell you something that Dave Chappelle said to me one day that really hit me. Like, wow. He asked me. We were watching that last Netflix special, and I was watching it with him and all three members of De La Soul and Stan Lathan. We were sitting at the hotel he always stays at, and once it stopped, he just started asking these questions like, "Yo, how did you meet KRS?" And I told him the story, and I was like, "Man, like I was like 15, and I used to enjoy cooking, and my cousin was a security guard at the men's shelter, and he was like, yo, can you bring me some food?" And obviously back then there were no Ubers, I didn't have money, so I had to walk like 3 miles to the men's shelter from the west side to the east side to take my cousin food. And he was like, "Oh, I want to introduce you to someone." And he took me into this room and he introduced me to the social worker by the name of DJ Scott LaRock. And then Scott LaRock introduced me to KRS. And then Dave looked at me, he was like, wait, did you hear what you just said? You walked 3 miles with food to feed your future. And I was like, damn.
I didn't know you cooked. At 15?
Yeah, I love cooking.
Really?
Yeah. No.
What did you cook?
And what did you cook?
I mean, back then it was simple. It was corned beef hash or something, you know what I mean? But no, now I cook. Like yeah.
What the fuck don't you do, D-Nice? You cook, you do photography, you DJ. What don't you do? You do music.
Life.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, you got to come over when you're in LA, man. Just, keep your mask and,
Just keep your mask on.
So what does D Nice want to do? What's the ultimate goal for D Nice?
Honestly, I've done everything that I wanted to do.
Yeah.
Like, I've lived, my whole life has been doing what I love, and I don't know what that is, what that means in the future, but I know from up until this point, I've literally done everything that I've wanted to do in my life, everything. Mm-hmm. So I completely separated myself from I love old school, but I never wanted to be looked at as, oh, that's the old school guy. And I never wanted old school. That's why I love that you guys interviewed Kane. And Kane is doing his thing. I'm like, yo, we gotta just not look at us as being old school. Like, we've done that, and we are still doing what we love.
It's timeless.
Yeah, it's just timing, man. So I don't. There's not much more that I desire to do. I know there are other things that's gonna happen, but I just let them naturally happen, bro.
I think if you just build it like your festival, that would be like some OG shit. Like that's. I'm 40. I want to go. I want to go with D Nice DJ, and I don't want to be in the clubs either.
Yeah.
That's why I love platforms like Drink Champs, because they build those platforms and they celebrate the OGs.
Yes,
I just think it's about us building those platforms for us to be celebrated and have a good time.
And I can't, but it's definitely happening. I can tell you that right now. March of 2022, it's happening.
Let us know. We there to support.
A D Nice festival.
It's a CQ festival.
CQ festival.
We are there.
Not even club quarantine. It's just
artists performing.
Artists performing, everything. DJs, the goal right now is to take over LA Live and all of those little venues to have different club sets going on. So whether it's reggaeton or whether it's Afrobeat, hip hop, and just utilize all of the venues, and and performances happening that the goal is to do Staples and have real festival vibe going.
Wow.
Yeah, and then also. Sunday I play gospel music, man. I woke up one morning, I needed the word. I was like, man, I don't feel right. And I started playing gospel music. The end of my set, it was 88,000 people were in here. I'm like, dang, even for gospel? Oh, you know what? Let's just do this. So, that's really where the festival idea came from. It was to have this weekend celebrating music and life and and not limiting it to just hip hop or just R&B, but everything. Imagine having a crazy Sunday brunch event, but it's not even a sit-down party. It's a sit-down brunch. It just feels good, and it's everyone's just clean and celebrating love and life and man. As an older person, in this game, man, that's what I want. That's what I want to feel.
That's right.
I want to celebrate love, man, and celebrate each other.
So. Well, introduce your record, man. Let's get it on now.
Tough tune too, by the way.
Man.
Tough record.
It's the single "No Plans for Love" featuring Neo, Kent Jones.
Are you on the label?
Yeah, I have a deal with Hitco.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, it's D Nice.
Wait, which version are you playing? The one with Snoop?
The only version you gave me.
I haven't heard the one with Snoop.
Do the one with Snoop too.
Yeah.
The remix.
Let's do the remix. Let me introduce the remix.
Oh, wow.
Let's get it on right now.
Yo, check it out. Here's the new single, "No Plans for Love," featuring Neo, Snoop Dogg, and Kent Jones.
All right, let's get into it. It's the Breakfast Club. Good morning.